Hey, what's up, listener? Thanks for clicking play on this episode of the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Jock and Nerd! This week on the show, we pay our respects to the late, great comic book artist Bernie Wrightson. Check out the new Wonder Woman trailer. Disclose more production updates for the solo Batman movie. And our early thoughts about Marvel's Iron Fist on Netflix and a bunch more in the news segment. Then we get into our spoiler-full review of Kong Skull Island. And we've got our resident monster movie expert, John Bellotti Jr., joining us for this review, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Sunday, March 19th, 2017.
King Kong ain't got shit on me!
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We're jocking, we nerding. We're funny, disturbing. We're jocking, we nerding. We're spoiler alert. Oh yeah. We're jocking, we nerding. We're funny, disturbing. Oh yeah. I'm jocking, we nerding. We're spoiler alert.
What's up, listener? Thanks for joining us. We're Jockin' and Nerdin' right here, right now. Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
Jock and Nerd. It's a very sick Jock who is out all night. Bear with him. You're going to make it, Anthony.
That's what they say.
I miss my 20s. We're going to have to live vicariously through you. I guarantee, listener, we're going to have a pretty crazy post show. So you want to sign up on Patreon. Also joining us is the miraculous, wonderful, felty American Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
What's up, dudes? How's it going?
Good Earth. How are you feeling?
I'm all right.
Trouble with the slack hole again, Rugs?
Dude, it's a constant battle. Slack hole's a little bit weird right now. I have to be honest with you.
Oh, man. I feel for you,
I'm
Rugs.
on medication.
All right. On the get well soon. Also joining us, because we're going to be reviewing a monster movie later on in the show. We need our monster movie guy. So we got a guy who, while he's not painting sets during the day, he is pushing pixels around to form things like Godzilla and Biolante at night. Of course, it's John Bellotti Jr. What's up, Bellotti?
Hey guys, how you doing? Coming to you from my iPhone 6S. What's up?
What's up? Representing Apple, just like on the Shin Godzilla, Bellotti's, your place is not, it's still under construction. What's going on?
Yeah, we had I think I said last time, our place had a flood back in December on my goddamn birthday. So right now it's being renovated, and we should be back there by the end of the month. So
Jesus Christ.
It's taking a while to renovate this shit, man.
It's like 4 months.
It's fucking insurance, man. Like this insurance, like, we'll give you money when we feel like it. So if you don't call them, then they don't send you the money. You have to like constantly harass them. So I had to call them like every day for like 2 weeks just to get them to send my money. It was nuts.
Wow, you should get like J.K. Simmons on that shit or something. Get him to help you. Or Dennis Hayes Baird.
Go there with a baseball.
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling. The Muggles. Insurance is a scam. That sucks, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry everyone is in a weird place right now. But look, listener, if this is your first time listening to us, this is what we like to do. We get together every week and geek out about stuff we love, and what we love is superheroes and comic books. So we're going to hear a little bit of geek news regarding penis. What? Penis. I thought it was titties. Get your hand off my penis. We love to geek out about that too. So we got a little bit of geek news, and then we're going to review Kong Skull Island. And you got 3 monster movie fans, being John Bellotti, Rugboy, and Anthony. So I'm excited to hear what you guys thought of this latest reinvention of King Kong. But we got a bunch of news, so we're just going to kick it off right now.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
So if you are a first-time listener, you may or may not know, like, I myself am an artist. I've drawn since I was a little kid, and comic books were super influential and inspirational for me. John Bellotti's an artist. Rugboy's an artist, and we just lost a very amazing, legendary, talented comic book artist. Bernie Wrightson just passed away. I think it was this morning on Sunday. He, after a lengthy battle with brain cancer, he was 68. And then for those of you guys who don't know, Bernie Wrightson Famed as the co-creator of DC Comics' Swamp Thing, Wrightson began his comics career in 1968 with House of Mystery 179 after first working as an illustrator for the Baltimore Sun. He worked for DC until 74, then he left to work for Warren Publishing, where he created a series of black and white adaptations of tales by H.P. Lovecraft and Edgar Allan Poe. He's actually mostly known for being a horror artist, but he did a lot more. He also joined fellow artists Jeff Jones, Michael Kaluta, Barry Windsor-Smith to form The Studio in a loft in Manhattan to pursue work outside of comics. He also has done work for films, concept work for Stephen King's Creepshow, and he did a bunch of illustrations for Stephen King's Cycle of the Werewolf. And he's best known for horror mystery, but like I said, he drew Batman, Captain Marvel, covers for Aquaman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, The Incredible Hulk. He announced his retirement from comics in January because he had a bleeding on the brain that left him unable to walk reliably or use his left hand. I don't know if he was righty or lefty. That would be devastating as an artist if you cannot use your hand. But man, how influential Bellotti as an artist was Bernie Wrightson to you?
He was not as influential as like some other guys like Adam Hughes was, but in terms of horror artists, he's the guy that I think inspired everybody.
Yeah.
Where you like Frank Frazetta sort of inspired all those big fantasy artists in the 80s.
Yep. This
guy inspired, everybody else. Guys like Jeff Zorno, I know was definitely inspired by Bernie Wrightson. Jeff Zorno does the Godzilla comics, a lot of horror stuff. And, but like I said, for me personally, it's because I don't do a lot of horror stuff. He didn't really inspire me, but doesn't mean I don't appreciate his brilliance and what he put on paper. I mean, it's amazing. His lines. If you just, I'll put a link to Bernie Wrightson images in Google. If you pull up any of these black and white illustrations, they look like etchings. They look like scratchboard, which is the method where you start black and it's subtractive and you scratch away to the white. But these are line drawings. They're incredibly detailed line drawings. Rugs, thoughts on Bernie Wrightson's art?
Well, he was a consummate draftsman. Like, he's a master of hatching.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Creating black and white balance. My first experience of Bernie Wrightson was when I used to go to the comic book store and I pedal my bike to the store, and I would always look for the graphic novels all the time. Batman graphic novels, there'd be Judge Dredd graphic novels, all these other graphic novels, and I was like waiting for a Spider-Man one.
Yes.
And then he came out with one called Hooky.
Yes.
Where Spider-Man gets sucked into another a Norse god universe with the Tordin and Dackerlack or whatever. And
there's a bunch of monsters and crazy creatures.
Yeah.
He's got to fight.
And it was so well rendered, especially the anatomy, that I just was just drawing from that book for a very long time to try and get a handle on some of the anatomy. Like, he made these crazy ass creatures that were just gross and disgusting, and it's one of the few things that were full color of Bernie Wrightson. Usually you see most of his stuff in black and white.
There's eyeballs all over things. I'm glad you brought that up because that, I think, was also my first introduction to Bernie Wrightson. It was 1986, and this is back when graphic novels were a special thing. It's not like now where there's these collections and trades, and people call trades graphic novels. They actually numbered these graphic novels, Marvel, and they would put out maybe 2 or 3 a year, and each one would be a different hero. But they were oversized, full color, really nice paper, and the artist got more time to work on them, and they didn't have to be part of any continuity, any storyline. They could be anything. So this Hooky was amazing because it was a very different Spider-Man tale. It didn't take place in the city. It was Spider-Man fighting monsters in a weird parallel universe.
He's wearing a poncho,
Yeah, it's great. And Bernie Wrightson, that art was amazing. That and the Cult, the Batman storyline Cult.
That's an amazing one as well.
That one, I check it.
Beautiful. One of my favorite things that Bernie Wrightson did was he did the illustrated Frankenstein.
Ah, wow.
So he took the novel, and then he just did illustrations for every other page. So it would take 2 pages of the novel, and he'd illustrate that part. And he would work his way down. And then his drawings of Frankenstein.
They're unbelievable. I'm looking at them right now.
Crazy.
You just have to Google Bernie Wrightson and a Frankenstein category pops up.
And the detail, it's just unbelievable. And I always look at it and I'm inspired by that. So if you see 2 things from Bernie Wrightson, you got to see Hooky, you got to see Frankenstein, and you got to see the Swamp Thing.
And Swamp Thing. Well, what I loved about Bernie is you knew it was his Batman because he would give him these ridiculously long ears, just super long, but they in real life wouldn't be practical, but they fucking look great the way he drew them.
Exactly. That's what they tried to do in that 1989 Batman movies. Get those ears.
Yeah, it didn't quite work with all the scalping. Anthony, thoughts on Bernie Wrightson? Are you familiar with his work at all?
I'm just looking at it now. I'm not an artist, so all I can say is it looks good.
Right? It's pretty sick. It's pretty sick stuff. But trust us, this is quality. This is cream of the crop. This is the guy that influenced. And if you want to learn,
it's old school.
Yeah, it's old school. If you want to study line work, study any Bernie Wrightson piece. So
it's this is considered old school. It looks pretty fucking modern to me. Like it looks
because everybody modern. That's because everybody modern steals from him.
Yeah, he's influenced. Like you'll see Mike Mignola, Frank Miller, like all these guys were influenced by
a lot of detail for sure.
Yeah. Great use of light and dark and black and white penwork. It's sad, but he will be missed. But he's got a great bunch of work out there. Definitely check it out. You will not be sorry. Okay, let's move on to some happier news. And it's surprisingly, it's in the DCEU, and it's a new Wonder Woman trailer. Everyone, Anthony, did you check out this trailer yet?
Of course, I did. What
did you think?
The origin trailer.
It's called the official origin trailer. Orange's trailer.
It looks good. I'm glad that there's color. I'm glad that there's like a nice dichotomy of like the Amazon colorful island and then London and war and it being that kind of bluish. So everything looks good. I say it on our Jock and Nerd community, and I think Bellotti said it and Del Howard. Please just don't suck.
That you have one job. You have one job, and it's not to suck. And I mean,
how good does it have to be to get it passed? Like does it have to be like better than Suicide Squad? I guess.
Oh, I mean, if it can clear like I don't think Man of Steel is a hard bar to clear.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm hoping that's. Oh yeah, you're right.
But it could be way better than Man of Steel with just a little bit of attention to character. Like, I want to walk away having really gotten to care for Diana Prince and these other characters. I like in the trailer that you see her training. You see her growing up on the island and being trained to be a warrior. The comedy beats still work. And I like that they really didn't give away too much. Like, it almost felt like they wanted to show you the bad guy, and they just stopped. They used a little bit of restraint. So it doesn't give away a lot. And it shows you, like, her golden lasso. Bellotti, I know Rugboy is not going to watch this trailer because it's too close to the movie, and he doesn't want to see it, right?
I don't want to see it.
Bellotti, have you seen this trailer? What are your thoughts?
No, the last trailer I watched was that second trailer that released. I didn't watch this one because I don't want to know too much about it.
You too, but I think they did a good job at not giving away too much.
I would agree. I don't think they gave away much where you were going to be like, fuck. Like, when we talk about Kong, I'm going to be like, fuck, I watched too much.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing. I stopped watching Kong trailers like a certain amount, and then I was actually, surprised at some of the things I saw, and I was happy that I didn't watch it. So, yeah.
It's those Batman vs Superman trailers were horrible and gave away the whole goddamn movie. It's not like that at all. These are better cut trailers, just giving you more of kind of what you saw, more little pieces. But it got me really excited, and I really feel like I have this article here. It says how Wonder Woman pays homage to Richard Donner's Superman, and I feel like Patty Jenkins is pulling a lot of these because she has said that like when she saw Superman in '78. Like it inspired her to be a filmmaker, and that's what she relates to, and she wants to kind of evoke that. And you see some of that, like literally and figuratively. Literally in that one shot again, where they show in the alleyway where she blocks the bullet with her bracelet. It's kind of a reverse of the Chris Reeve Lois Lane scene. In a Q&A, Patty Jenkins has said, "I'm here because of Superman. I'm here because when I saw Superman as a kid, it rocked my world. And I was Superman. I was that little boy. I took that ride in that journey. What Star Wars did for some people, Superman did for me." So I'm hoping she can channel this into the story of Diana. I love that.
Well, time's going to tell. I think that we're all going to see this movie. Hopefully, these things all pay off. I would love to see some Donner influence,
Well, we only got till June, and we will know for sure. Okay, let's move on to some more Batman news, people. Yes.
Oh, shit.
The crazy Batman for the Batman solo movie. This crazy stories continue. This week, here's what happened. Officially announced that The Batman is unlikely to begin production until 2018. The reason being, Ben Affleck was in rehab for alcohol addiction.
Oh, shit.
And he's very candid about this, which I thought was surprising. So this is what he actually said. He said, I have completed treatment for alcohol addiction, something I've dealt with in the past and will continue to confront. I want to live life to the fullest and be the best father I can be. I want my kids to know there is no shame in getting help when you need it and to be a source of strength for anyone out there who needs help but is afraid to take the first step. I'm lucky to have the love of my family and friends, including my co-parent, Jen. It must be Jennifer Garner, yeah, who has supported me and cared for our kids as I've done the work I set out to do. This was the first of many steps being taken towards a positive recovery. Wow, that's pretty crazy. But then EW says that Affleck's alcohol addiction treatment didn't affect his involvement with the Batman. He's still working on the script for the planned sequel with DC's CCO Jeff Johns. First of all, this is pretty brave of Affleck to come out and say this.
Well, it's like Zack Snyder made him an alcoholic.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, he drove him. Snyder drove me to the drink, people.
Put him in the shittiest movie of his career.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. He was actually the best part of the movie. But.
He's always been in and out of rehab, though, hasn't he? Hasn't he always had alcohol problems?
I don't know. Yeah.
When he first got divorced, there was some kind of wind of that going on.
Yeah.
So,
and he just had a rough year, though, too. Yeah. I mean, I know poor millionaire Ben Affleck, but creatively he's had a rough year. I should.
Well,
say.
Live by Night got trashed, and that was his, kind of his auteur movie.
Yeah.
But so look, production's not going to start till 2018. Another report comes out. And we talked about this weeks ago that if they were going to get a new director, which they did, Matt Reeves officially hired, they might be looking at a complete rewrite. And they are going to rewrite the whole script to the point where Joe Manganiello, he's not sure if he's still going to be Deadpool anymore. Like Deathstroke. Sorry, Deadpool. We can, they said Flash Film reports, we can now report that there is more going on behind the scenes as well. According to sources close to the production, the screenplay for the Batman is being rewritten from ground up. So it's entirely possible that everything we've heard about the film story will no longer be in play. So, wow. Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. It's nuts. It's kind of, I still hope they use Manganiello as Deathstroke, but look, don't force him in the story if this is not the story you're trying to tell also.
It's like the pre-production on the Batman's like a fucking daytime soap opera.
It is. Could be
as the world turns with the Batman.
No shit. This is going to be like a documentary of its own. And if through all this you could deliver a good product, then that's fine. Just get your shit sorted out. Another DCEU movie that is the only movie after Wonder Woman and Justice League that we kind of know is going to come out. Aquaman has pushed back its release date. A couple of months to Christmas 2018, 2 months. It was originally supposed to come out October 5th, pushed back to December 21st.
Christmas.
And that was the original date held by Avatar 2, James Cameron's Avatar 2 from Fox, which that was delayed. And it won't be facing competition from a Star Wars movie because Han Solo movie next year is coming out in May. But it is sharing a release date with Sony's animated Spider-Man movie, which is going to be the Miles Morales movie. Now, this is why I'm okay with this. If he's pushing this back because the post is intense and it's underwater shit that no one's ever seen.
Yeah, they need a little bit more time to let it bake in the oven.
Fucking take your time. I'd rather you give me one good movie a year and 3 shitty movies.
It's only a few months. It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, it's not much. But hopefully,
I don't think you can ever really complain about a movie getting pushed back when it's already in production. If they need just more time, give them more time.
Give them more time. In the meantime, though, DC is like, we gotta shoot something this year, guys. What are we gonna do? So there's this article that they're looking to shoot one of these 5 films. They just want to start production, which I don't know if that's a good idea and rush something to have something. Like we said, don't do that. But they're looking at Gotham City Sirens, The Flash, Green Lantern Corps, Suicide Squad 2, or The Dark Universe, which is the Justice League Dark movie. Each of these films have writers attached to it. Some don't have directors, and the scripts are being worked on. So I don't know if any of these are ready to move forward, but if you rush one of these movies just to shoot something, it could be a mess.
I like that we're recording the show in a bathroom.
Where's that leaking?
Who's got a leak? Somebody call the plumber.
Apartment leaking now, John Bellotti?
Bellotti, is there a drip on top of you? I'm hearing a drip. Listen,
He's shitting it a couple times.
Bellotti's currently being waterboarded.
Are you being held by terrorists? Bellotti, blink one time for yes.
Tell my mom I love.
Listen, I told that plumber to get here before 2. He's late. So, which of these, if they had to rush one of these, fellas, which of these do you want to see?
I'm sorry, I was distracted by the drip.
Drip.
Let's not talk about the drip anymore. Let's focus on the Flash.
Well, I think that Gotham City Sirens is the least.
That was just announced.
Yeah, I think that. Well, I think that that's the one that's going to do the least harm, even if it sucks.
Yeah.
Because you still have Suicide Squad, which has some kind of marquee value now that the first movie came out, and you don't want to rush Flash.
No.
Because that requires, it's a big character. You can't fuck.
They don't
around
have a
with
director. They've lost 2 to
So
3
I
directors.
would say a low budget Gotham City Sirens that trades on, the sexuality of these girls would probably, get a lot of asses in the seats, especially if they do it an R rating or a 13 rating, and push it a little bit, like Fast and the Furious or something like that.
That's not bad. You wouldn't need a lot of money. I think you should keep it low budget, easy production, keep it street level, and you could put together something great. He also said, "Anybody? What about you guys, Anthony? You want to see any of these right away?"
I mean, I would kind of agree with Ruggs. The Gotham City Sirens would do the least amount of harm. I mean, they threw out Suicide Squad, and that movie's a piece of shit, but. Yeah. No one actually cares because it's not characters that anyone gives a fuck about.
Nope.
So you could definitely do that with Gotham City Sirens.
Same.
What a mess. They also said that if it doesn't work out and Aquaman shoots this year, they are okay with that. So there's an article in here. They have 17 movies in various stages of development right now. DC has. So they just got to get put.
You would think they could make one good one,
right? You think without all this, you think
they can't even get through production of one movie.
How about you focus on one goddamn thing? Now it's just like they're all over the place. Wow. So they may just start haphazardly shooting something, just for shits and giggles.
They just want to shoot something. Is that what the article you read?
Well, they said they're hoping that they can shoot something this year to, get something else coming out. Because right now, again, all they got Wonder Woman, Justice League, Aquaman 2018. That's it. Everything else is up in the air in various stages of work.
Why don't they just push back Justice League until next year? It's coming out in November anyway. What's the fucking difference if it's like next March? You know what I mean? Just make it better. I mean, just put more effort into that movie. Make it a little bit longer, maybe, and just push it for next year. But you know what? This is Warner Brothers. If they knew what they were doing, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Absolutely.
They wouldn't talking too logical here.
They wouldn't be in this mess to begin with. Okay, well, look, we'll see what happens. Wonder Woman in June, and then, like you said, we're going to get Justice League. Let's move on to a little bit of Marvel news. Iron Fist is out, guys. I wanted a little watch update. Ruggs, have you watched it yet? How far are you?
I'm pretty far into it. I'm like 10 or 11 episodes.
Oh, snap. I'm at 8. Bellotti, you watching this yet?
No, not at my parents' house. When I get back home from my exile in Staten Island, I'll watch it.
Anthony, have you seen any of this yet?
So I've been hooked on this show called Untold History of the United States of America.
By Oliver Stone.
By Oliver Stone, yeah. I've been so hooked on that, I'm going to finish that before I start any episodes of Iron Fist.
Okay, well, look, listener, of course, we're going to give you a full review. I'll give you guys, once everyone's watched it, we will get down and dirty with it. But, Ruggs, so far, I just want to know some just light thoughts. What do you think? Were the reviews correct that we heard?
You want to know something? It's like the first few episodes,
yeah,
I was kind of on board with it. And I was like, okay, I know the drill. It's going to be a slow burn, blah, blah, blah. And I was on board. But then the more that it went on, I was really like, this show is subpar. This is not the show that it's not good for Iron Fist. It's not good for the guy who's playing Iron Fist. The only one who's coming out smelling like a rose is Colleen Wing.
She's pretty badass.
And they made some really weird choices that even in casting are weird. It just seems like it's just weird all over the place. But yeah, it's definitely out of all the ones. I thought it was going to be more entertaining than Cage, but it's not. The first 3 episodes, I was like, oh, this is going to be entertaining. And the only way I can put my finger on it is it's the fight scenes. I think more than anything, they're just not good enough.
I'm 8 episodes in, and I kind of felt the opposite. Like, in the beginning, I was like, oh.
No surprise.
Oh, shit, they're dragging this shit out. I was yelling at the fucking television to fucking move it along already. But then, episodes 5, 6, 7, like, the way these characters changed and twist, and it got me hooked. Like, my wife started watching it, and it got her hooked, and she's actually past me now. She's digging it. It is probably... in the beginning, the slowest pace out of any of them. But I don't know. I'm digging it. I'm just curious to see where this mysteries and secrets go and where it ends.
Well, it's good that you both kind of disagree.
There's a lot of missed opportunities there, Anthony. Trust me. When you watch it, you'll see.
Okay. Well, it just because Rugboy's review already is like, oh, fuck, I got to watch this. And then Imran watches it, and I'm like, all right, maybe I could watch this and be not want to kill myself.
No, I think it really is like however you want to interpret it. I think you could watch it and like it.
Yeah.
Or you can watch it and not like it. It's not that I don't like it. I actually am enjoying parts of it. I just think that especially in the area of it being exciting, it's just not exciting. That's all.
It's a different tone and a different feel. I felt like it started slow, but it's gradually ramping up so far, and I was really appreciating that. And I was like, by the end of the episodes, now I'm like, I have to watch the next one. Like, it makes you want to watch the next one. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it ends up. And we'll give you a full review. Some other Marvel-related news from Nude News. Sony just announced randomly they're going to make a Venom movie.
Oh, shit. Geek Boner.
To be out next year.
Whoa.
Yeah, they've already gave it a date, October 5th, 2018, which is the date Aquaman let go of. Just now we discussed Aquaman was supposed to come out October 15th. They went out. Sony's like, we're making a Venom movie. And they've been trying to do a Venom film for years, but I don't think there's any clues as to how it's going to tie into Spider-Man. Will it even have Spider-Man in there? Could it be R-rated? I do have a little bit of news on the writers and who they're looking at in the director. But before I get to that, what do you guys think of a Venom movie just out of nowhere from Sony?
I feel like that. I mean, obviously, this is going to be not tied to the comic book in any way. So I'm already dubious on that. But
who is it going to be? Is it going to be Eddie Brock? Is it going to be Flash Thompson?
So if you could divorce yourself from that idea, which is always tough for me to do, I always go to the comics first. The source is what really. But they could probably make a cool movie with Venom as a vehicle. But I don't know. Is it going to be really Venom? I don't know. That's the question.
Yeah, and I think I read articles when Sony and Marvel came to their agreement that Sony can produce these offshoot Spider-Man films, not including Spider-Man, and they're not going to tie into anything.
So they can kind of do whatever they want with Venom.
They can do like Venom, and they can do like a Carnage, or like they could still do their own Sinister Six and all that stuff. Like, and they can still do that, but doesn't necessarily have to tie into Marvel. So these could be exist in their own little thing, which is going to be weird.
So
I don't. What?
I'm just saying, that's going to be weird because can they use Spider-Man? Can you make a Venom movie without putting Spider-Man in it at all?
I don't see how. I think they're so tied. I don't know.
Because then it becomes a whole different character.
Right.
Well, yeah, it matters.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take away Spider-Man from Venom, you wouldn't have the spider powers because he got the spider powers from that. So
Tom Holland, his contract is for these 6 movies right now. I don't know if they got to rework the contract.
The way that they could do it is that if they had Venom, kind of like an alien, goo, lands on Earth, and then it takes over a spider. And it piggybacks on a spider and then goes to the next person and completely cancels out Spider-Man altogether.
Ugh, I don't know if I like that. But
that's the only way for them to really do it.
Somehow gets mushed with like spider DNA and some contrived fucking thing. Yeah.
It seems like Sony. It's going to be Sony's R-rated
franchise. Everybody wants an R-rated thing now.
Thanks, Deadpool.
Thanks, Deadpool. And you know what? R-rated Venom, if done right, would be kick-ass. So according to Exhibitor Relations, Sony's now working with the new writers on the project. Scott Rosenberg and Jeff Pinkner are brainstorming ideas from the film. These two guys are both attached to the recent remake of Jumanji with The Rock and Karen Gillan. And in the past, Rosenberg has worked on projects like Con Air, Gone in 60 Seconds, Salamander. Pinkner has provided work for Amazing Spider-Man 2, Alias, The Dark Tower, and more. So some pretty good writers there together. But
what happens?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this is another, they've given these guys,
risky.
Yeah, they've given these guys, here's your date. We need the movie. Go make it, kind of like a Suicide Squad. Go give me a script, make this movie. You got a little over a year. Get to the making. Get to the Venom. Okay, let's move on to some Godzilla news. We had, in the past, we discussed this animated movie that Toho is coming out with. And word comes out from August Ragone's blog himself. Netflix acquires animated Godzilla movie to distribute it globally in 2017.
Cool.
And so, the Netflix Japan put out a tweet. The translation.
What about is Godzuki going to be in it?
Of course.
Absolutely.
So this is what it says. It says created by the gifted tag team of Kobun Shizunu, Hiroyuki Shishita, and Jen Urubuchi, and Polygon
all people
Pictures.
Bellotti knows personally.
Yeah, you had dinner with them, right? At the Dragon Lady Lounge.
Yeah.
Get vegan hot dogs with them.
Vegan hot dogs with Jen Urubuchi. The animated movie Godzilla will be exclusively distributed worldwide by Netflix. Release date to be announced soon. How excited are you guys, Godzilla fans, for this?
The story, from what I heard so far from bits and pieces, the story sounds really fucking cool.
What is the story?
The story is, from what I'm gathering, and I could be 100% wrong, but apparently, like, Godzilla's radiation pollutes the entire planet, and humanity flees Earth, and then they come back years later, or whatever, to see what the hell happened, and that's all I know. That's all I know.
So that kind of ties into this piece of art they have for the show. It's like this. It looks like a giant ship, and there's people on Earth, and they just stepped out of the ship, and Earth is just there's nobody there. So it's like that's when they're coming back.
Yeah, it's very sci-fi. It's more sci-fi than
cool.
Yeah, it's definitely more sci-fi than Shin Godzilla. So that's where all the spaceships and all that stuff is coming from. So it looks pretty cool.
It's a new angle.
Yeah,
you've never seen this angle before. I'm excited about the CG because. I think that this is something they should have done 15 years ago, is do a CG Godzilla movie. Like when I saw Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within and came out, and I was like, dude, they should do a Godzilla movie like this. Would be great.
Is this the first full-length animated Godzilla movie?
From Japan, yeah.
That's surprising, too.
Yeah.
You think they would have had a bunch of these already by now and just fucking got a whole franchise.
It's been a long time coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on now, thanks to Netflix. I mean, Netflix it'll be able to be seen in 190 countries at once. So good for Netflix and good for Godzilla fans. Anthony, you excited for the animated Godzilla? What so far?
Honestly, I didn't even know it was being made.
There you go.
So I'm learning about it as we speak.
Even better. The less you know, the better.
Yeah. Well, I spoke about it in the past.
Yeah, I forgot.
That's okay.
I'll check it out. This sounds awesome. I got another piece of news about another awesome franchise that is being revived, and that is The Matrix.
Geek Boner.
Now, the story came out that they're looking at Michael B. Jordan for a new Matrix movie, and this is not going to be a remake. It's not going to be a reboot. They're going to make possibly a prequel of young Morpheus. Michael B. Jordan as young Morpheus. So that would be cool. I have so many emotions about this. I'm just really happy that this is not a reboot or remake. That would have been fucking stupid.
No, that would have angered me because I was like, there's no need to touch that.
Yeah.
And there are so many stories. Like, if you ever watch the Animatrix, there's so many stories that are so compelling about the Matrix.
So that's what I was hoping they would do. Zach Penn's the screenwriter. I'm kind of disappointed that it is a prequel of Morpheus, even though that's a great idea. like you said, because what's going to happen is now we got to see Morpheus figure out the fucking Matrix. We've seen that. We've seen somebody figure out what the Matrix is. Stay in the Matrix. Show me that world. The Animatrix is so awesome because they dig into the world of being in the Matrix and all. There's so many possibilities for stories.
Well, maybe Morpheus, the prequel could be like Morpheus. The Matrix isn't the way it is when we get to the actual Matrix movies. Like it's a different being. It's not as evolved as it was by the time Morpheus is an old motherfucker.
Yeah, maybe they had tried a different world that was different, and and it was a little bit more interesting. Maybe they alluded to like vampires and shit and werewolves in the Matrix Reloaded.
That's right.
Ghosts and shit.
Yeah,
so they could go and kind of explore some of that shit. Maybe.
I mean, he's an amazing like Obi-Wan Yoda character, and I think they really didn't explore him enough in the sequels. The sequels just, they missed the point. There was so much potential, and they just kind of blew it in those sequels. I want to see more other people who are agents in the Matrix doing cool like superhero shit in the Matrix.
I would even like to see what preceded the Matrix. That whole war of the worlds where we got destroyed and then we got made into batteries.
Oh, they're like their Judgment Day kind of.
Yeah,
in the
there's
Matrix.
so many things you can do.
There's so many things. Yeah,
get some mechs out there.
I would agree. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that could be mined.
I have a theory though, because this is Warner Brothers, right? They're the ones they own the Matrix property.
I believe so. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So Harry Potter was their big franchise. They were making tons of money on it, right? So that goes away.
Yeah.
They start greenlighting all these DC movies because they need like a new franchise. But now they're kind of sputtering. I mean, they're making money, but critically they're tanking. So I think they're getting fucking nervous and they need another sure thing. And what better to regurgitate than the fucking Matrix? That's my theory. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, all the people that are like in their 30s and 40s have really nice feelings about the Matrix.
Yeah.
So, it'd be a good thing to go to. It has good marquee value. So,
yeah, they could do a bunch of
being
movies.
29. I guess I'm close to my 30s, but I remember in school when the Matrix came out, everyone was like, "That's the movie you got to see."
Dude, it blew everyone's mind. You didn't see shit like that, and you were like, "What?" And it took so long for the sequels. The potential, again, go watch the Animatrix. That's where it should go. But yeah, they could have a really strong Matrix prequel franchise and awesome spin-offs. You know who else is hurting more is fucking Sony. They're going to need this Venom movie. They're going to need something to bring them some money.
They're doing Valiant characters now.
Oh, I did see something about that too. They're looking to what can we get to get us some money and make a franchise. Sony is just scrambling. So
yeah, I forgot they made a deal with Valiant like a year ago or something.
What was the books? Yeah. I saw news someone was doing.
They were doing Harbinger and Bloodshot.
Oh no, there was news somebody else was looking at another Valiant thing. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, let's see. Let's see. Give us a good Matrix. Don't fuck it up. Finally, last bit of news. I want to talk about when, we harp on when movies go into reshoots and just fucking freak out. And there's a right way to do it, right? And there's a wrong way to do it. The wrong way, maybe like Warner Brothers DC is doing, where they jump in and they interfere and they hack up your movie and you get Suicide Squad. The right way to do it is put it in Disney's hands. And they'll do it right. Here's the evidence being that Darth Vader scene in Rogue One, right? At the very end. The most badass, iconic scene that everyone remembers. That scene barely made it into the film.
Oh, shit.
Last minute, final hour. It was conceived at the very end. So this is when, remember we went through like the ending of Rogue One's going through a lot of changes, a lot of reshoots. And we said even in our review that they probably saved this movie. So Gareth Edwards, in an interview with Fandango, said he shared some details about how late it was. He says he arrives and obliterates the Calamari ship, and then the blockade runner gets out just in time, and he pursues the blockade runner. And then editor Jabez Olsen was like, I think we need to get Darth on that ship. And I thought, yeah, that's a brilliant idea. Would love to do it, but there's no way they're going to let us do it. It's a big number, and we had like 3 or 4 months before release. This is 4 months before the movie comes out. Kathy Kennedy came in, and Jabez thought, fuck it, and pitched her this idea, and she loved it. Suddenly, within a week or two, We were at Pinewood Studios shooting that scene 4 months before release with 2 weeks to plan at the most. And that became the most iconic, the fucking one of the best scenes in the movie, the best scenes of Darth Vader we've ever seen. Like, so this is where reshoots go, right? This is when a studio is in touch and is willing to take risks and not be fucking jackasses and change things just cause. This is how you
I want to throw in, or I want to point out the way you worded it, Imran.
Yeah.
You basically made it sound like, so when any studio needs to figure out their reshoots, they should just get on the phone with Disney and tell them to do it.
Yeah, I think that's also a good advice. Why not?
So Warner Brothers should just be like, Disney, how the fuck are we going to do these reshoots?
Disney asking for a friend. How would you do this? It's for a friend. It's not for us. I swear.
Oh, shit.
But, dude, that's like an iconic Darth Vader scene. They came up at the very end. And so reshoots don't always mean the end of the world. And look, Spider-Man is going into reshoots. I'm not freaking out. I trust them.
You used to freak out, but this movie kind of cleared that for you.
Yeah, I would freak out. Like the Warner Brothers DCE movies, I think you still have right to freak out with anything because they have yet to prove that they can fucking pull it off in the clutch end. But, Disney, Marvel, they know their characters. They know what to do. All right, well, that's it for the news. I'll take that awkward silence to just carry on.
You got Rugboy going.
Look, we're gonna
it's like I can't really jump on board Imran's enthusiasm for reshoots. It's
right.
Like I'm happy that they did the reshoot because it did need like a little bit of a bigger ending.
Yeah,
because you're killing off all the good characters. Let's give you like a little Darth Vader to go on.
Yeah. So
I'm glad they did it.
We wouldn't have had that. We wouldn't have had that if they didn't, they didn't think it was necessary to take that risk. And, whatever. All right.
I was just going to add that reshoots happen on every single production in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So it's, when you get to the editing bay, you're like, let's see what we got. And you're like, well, you know what? We need a scene here. We need a scene there. And then they go reshoot it. So people need to fucking chillax and trust the Disney.
Well, it's how you handle the reshoots. Anybody can reshoot scenes. But it's how you put the scenes together that's going to make a difference in what you're reshooting. So it's all
part of the business.
It's part of the business, and the true artists know how to do it. All right, look, we're going to take a little pause from the cause. We're going to play some fun promos of some of our podcast buddies. Check them out. And we'll be right back with some Kong Skull Island gorilla talk.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Trivia Geeks, the Unpredictable Game Show podcast, is back with a brand new season. They've got a new host, new games, and a new day and time. But that's not all. Now you can download their companion app, Triv Now, and play along in real time. Watch Carrie on YouTube as she tries to convince her partner that his Dark Knight hasn't risen in years. Listen on Diamond Club and Alpha Geek Radio, Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. You can also follow the show on Facebook and Twitter and get all the latest updates and showtimes.
Hey there, fellow podcast fans. Do you love comic books and especially Swamp Thing? Get out of the bayou. So do we. Come check out the Parlapod Show, the world's only podcast dedicated to the muck-encrusted mockery of a man himself, Swamp Thing. This is some serious arcane audio. We also have a sister show, Splurch, where we dive into the world of comics and all the crazy aspects of life. Give us a listen at parlapod.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, our YouTube channel. Visit our site, parlapod.com, and consider supporting our Patreon for some really cool rewards and exclusive content. Check us out on podcastradionetwork.net every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Join the conversation on Twitter by following @Parlapod. We'll see you in the swamps. In the swamps. In the swamps. In the swamps.
I'm a very patient person.
A body falls past the window. Whatever. And you put it down and you feel like shaky all over. Both your hands are covered. Immediately peg him as a cogman.
So we've known each other for years.
It's Sumeshi. One of the knives is missing from a garter hilt because it is being pressed to your throat.
Damn.
We had a...
Oh my God.
So you took money from him, huh?
We talked about this earlier.
Recently attacked by the forces of the American Confederation.
Yeah. Are you constantly checking for traps?
The Steamrollers Adventure Podcast is available at rigstories.com or on iTunes. You can also get it at Stitcher and Google Play.
Doc and Nerd.
Okay, we're going to get to our Kong review, listener. But before I do, I want you to know that we have an awesome fan club on Patreon. jockandnerd.com/Patreon will take you to our special exclusive fan club for the listener. For a low monthly pledge, you are going to get access to like 8 hours of bonus audio. We're throwing stuff up there every week. After this show, you better believe there's going to be a post show, and that's going to go up on Patreon just for our fan club members. And if you want links to anything we talked about this episode so far, just visit jockandnerd.com/158, and there's links to how to contact us and all the stuff we talked about in videos and whatever. So let's get on with Kong Skull Island. I gotta issue this.
Prepare to be spoiled!
Because we will spoil the shit out of this movie. Let's go over some of the numbers first. Rotten Tomatoes, currently it's sitting at a 78%. Like a high C+ on the Rotten Tomatoes. All right. For whatever that's worth. This movie has made, so far in 10 days release as of March 19th, $110 million domestically. Worldwide total, $259 million and some change on a $185 million production budget. So not bad. Runtime 2 hours. And it did pretty good opening weekend. The problem is what's going on this year is every week is a giant movie coming out, and usually this didn't start until summer, and now it just starts in March.
Oh shit!
It's sandwiched between Logan and fucking Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, and so Logan,
it's getting swallowed up.
Yes, Logan did good for the week it had, and then this movie comes out. Once Beauty and the Beast is out, nobody's gonna give a shit about any other movie. This movie is gonna destroy everything, and it's only March. It may set records that no one's ever seen before for a movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is pretty crazy.
Is the amount of little girls at my theater? It was insane. I've never been around that many little girls.
I mean, didn't
you go to a Justin Bieber concert?
Oh, this is true.
Was it worse?
I stand corrected.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's a really big detail.
I forgot about that one.
Nothing can stand up to screaming girls at a Bieber concert. Maybe Beauty and the Beast, a story about bestiality and woman abuse and keeping a woman a slave. Wholesome stuff for the family.
Absolutely.
Man, that movie's going to kill, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Kong Skull Island from, who made this?
Legendary.
Legendary, I think in collaboration with, it wasn't Warner Brothers, was it?
They gotta be in collaboration with someone, and it is Legendary with Warner Brothers. Yep, Tencent Pictures and Warner Brothers, directed by Jordan Voight Roberts.
But it's more of a Legendary.
It is definitely more of a Legendary.
Because Godzilla is just strictly Legendary with someone else. It's not Warner Brothers. It's not a Warner Brothers thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's the Legendary universe. So, sorry, continue.
No, and this guy has made one actual feature movie before this, The Kings of Summer, and I'm pretty sure he wasn't getting 185.
It was a super low budget movie.
Yes, I'm sure he did not have anywhere near 185 million to work with. So that's always interesting when they go and tap a little guy who's not used to big money. But look, we have, Anthony's a big Godzilla fan, King Kong fan, Rugboy, Bellotti, you guys are big monster movie fans. Let's just start with our opening thoughts. And Anthony, you saw it the most recent, correct?
Yes.
Let's start with you. What'd you think overall?
Overall, I liked it. Cast is a little too big. Some of the stuff needed just a little more time to breathe. It felt like the movie was jumping from big scene to funny thing to big action scene, and there wasn't a lot of time to breathe. But anytime Kong was on the screen, I enjoyed seeing fucking him fight stuff. So
yeah,
overall, I came out of the film with positive thoughts.
Right on. Ruggs.
Excited for
the future, where it's gonna go.
Monsterverse, yeah.
Ruggs, your initial thoughts walking out of this movie?
I don't think it was a good movie, but I did enjoy seeing Kong. So I went in and got my money's worth with Kong. I felt like, was he as developed and well done as Peter Jackson's Kong? No.
Yeah, I would agree, no.
But there was way more pathos and way more emotion behind Peter Jackson's Kong. But they didn't do a terrible job either. They did like a serviceable. To establish a character for Godzilla to fight later and to do this crossover, it worked in that way. Was it a great movie? Were the human characters, was the writing good? I don't know. But it did. I did get my money's worth. I went to see Kong fuck shit up, and that's what I saw.
Yeah, they gave you Kong. Bellotti, what were your opening thoughts?
Well, to preface this, I saw it in 3D RPX, and you guys know what that is.
I wanted to see the RPX.
What is the RPX, real quick?
The RPX is basically, it's like these hydraulic chairs. And
yeah.
Like, so your chairs move with the action. They'll spray water on you if it's raining. They'll blow air in your face if there's like, whenever the helicopters were
there was air being, really?
Yeah, they'll blow air at you.
Oh, dude, I got to check one of these out in RPX.
Yeah, I have to say that the movie going experience was more fun for me than the actual
movie. Sure, okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. I mean, if I had to rate the movie, I'd give it like between a D and a C plus.
Whoa,
ooh,
yeah,
that's about 78% Rotten Tomatoes score. I also initially when I came out of the movie, I thought it was just okay. I did love all the scenes. With Kong, I thought they did a great job. I liked that they stayed on the island. But, man, were there a lot of people in this movie. And, you don't even need the whole setup. Because then what happened was I came home, and through nefarious means, I just watched the end. I skipped ahead 25 minutes to when they get to the island. And from when they get to the island to the end, it's a pretty fun ride. It gave you what it wanted. It got a little bit repetitive in the end. And John C. Reilly is the only characters that kind of made me laugh. But I did enjoy. I'd see Peter Jackson's Kong. I found was a little boring. So this was a little more exciting.
Well, inevitably people are going to compare this to Peter Jackson's Kong. So that's a good place to kind of start.
Let's start there.
Peter Jackson's Kong. There was more heart, I think, in Peter Jackson's Kong. I agree with Rugboy that Kong had a bit more personality. Actually, a lot more in my opinion. The way to compare these movies, I read an article, and I think it was pretty apt. Peter Jackson's Kong was so long because Peter Jackson was just putting everything into every scene.
Yeah.
That at times it could be a little boring, so it needed a little trimming. Whereas this movie, as I alluded to in my review, or my quick thoughts, is just scene to scene to scene and needed a little bit of Peter Jackson's finesse.
Yeah, there was a lot of world building and just setting up pieces for things, and then they would just move on.
Everything just needed a little more time, it seemed like.
I mean, it felt like a kaiju movie, like something that you would see from Toho. Yeah. It's not unlike what you would see in the 70s from Godzilla or Toho or any of these movies where things just move incredibly fast or they have very little explanation. The characters don't really have that as much depth as you think, and it's more centered around what's happening in the plot unfolding. So it's true to a kaiju movie, but I think what happens is when you have a great, I loved King Kong, the Peter Jackson Kong.
Okay.
Is it almost an hour too long? Yes. It could have been 2 hours long and been, or even a little bit under 2 hours long and been a great movie, because what he did with King Kong was he created this great character, this great interaction with the human element. And you really feel like he's this majestic thing that's, beat up and old and, and lonely.
Yeah. The victim. This is like the Kong victim.
You don't really get that kind of sympathy for Kong in this movie. In this movie, you kind of just see Kong as a god that just kind of walks around and is kind of disappointed in everything.
I kind of like that. So a couple of things I did like is I like that this is very an original kind of reboot where this is only, I'm counting U.S. movies, it's only like the 8th Kong movie.
I think, is that 8?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 2 Japanese movies, I think, or 3 that are not in here. But starting from the 1933 original Kong, this is only the 8th U.S. Kong movie. And where Peter Jackson,
I was only counting 6, but there you go.
It's King Kong, Son of Kong, King Kong versus Godzilla, King Kong Escapes, and then King Kong 76, King Kong Lives in 86, and then King Kong 2005. Now, I like what they did with Shin Godzilla is not redo the original storyline, which the original, King Kong has always been
He dies.
Yeah, well, it's a guy who wants to film a movie, and then he realizes that he can make more money bringing this creature back and exploiting him, and Western capitalism kills King Kong every time. He's a victim in this movie. I liked in this one, we get to go to King Kong's home, Skull Island. They stay on the island, and you see Kong as like a protector. He is a badass protector. He's never a victim. And just in the modeling, where I read something where they modeled, Peter Jackson Kong was actually more of a silverback gorilla, like very, authentic. I like how they made this a little more of a bipedal Kong, where he stands up and walks around. And what little character moments they gave us, like where he was hurt and he kind of saves the girl at the end. Yeah, I could use a little more of that, but he was pretty fucking badass Kong in this, though.
He was the best part. It was his movie, and he was the big star. He was the best part for me.
And it was like a really good B movie, monster movie, with like a lot of CGI. Now,
I would go him being the best part, and you mentioned John C. Reilly.
Yeah,
he was the only character that I gave a fuck about in that entire film, which is amazing. That cast.
Well, and what's also funny is like at the end of the movie, we find out what happens to him, as if like the whole movie was like his movie. Like he was like we meet him halfway, and then like what happened to the other fuckers? They didn't tell us. There's 12 other people in this movie, and
yeah. Could I say something controversial that probably nobody will agree with me on?
Okay.
76 Kong is still my favorite, and I'll tell you why.
Oh,
it's not because of the guy in suit; it's because of Jeff Bridges' character.
Yeah,
he's still my favorite character out of all those films. So when I was waiting for Tom Hiddleston to sort of, represent that sort of the ecological common sense character, and he did nothing. He had that one line that he was like, "You're going to drop bombs on the island." When they were talking about mapping it out,
right?
And that was it. And I was like, okay, here comes the speech. And then there was nothing. And I said, Jeff Bridges was he was in the building. Remember at the end of the 76, he's in the trade center. He's screaming. He's cheering for Kong. When Kong kills us, I was like, man, I guess Jeff Bridges is a real actor. He's an amazing actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wasted those great actors. They wasted Tom Hiddleston.
Brie Larson was, oh God, they totally wasted him.
Yeah, the best performance was Brie Larson's tank top. I think
that's a good
clean no matter what.
Yeah, very clean, never got dirty.
Clean. Never.
Oh, there's a lot to nitpick about this movie, but I want to talk about more stuff. What else did you guys like? What other positive things can we say?
The Vietnam setting. I will say the Vietnam setting was like one of my favorite aspects. And the directing. I'm not super crazy about him as a director, but the colors, the cinematography.
It was
amazing.
shot beautifully. Shot on location in Vietnam and Hawaii. Beautifully shot movie. You got the sense that they were there. And, and this was
uneven. It was uneven. Because what happens is, you have the DP, the director of photography, he's framing these beautiful shots, and, whoever's working on the CG, they have great storyboards and they're really well composed and everything. But then when you're actually following action and storytelling with shot by shot, then it gets a little bit touchy. Like when you have these nice touches of things dropping into the frame or there's that zoom into the eye, all that stuff, those artsy things, those are all really cool because you're storyboard. But when they're I think whoever edited this movie didn't edit it great. I think it was shot well, but edited poorly.
Yeah. Let me throw in that I thought the setting was the third positive that I saw. Kong, John C. Reilly, and the setting.
Yeah,
they filmed a ton of this in fucking Vietnam, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Vietnam's an awesome place to film. And I thought there was some cool touches of, Bellotti mentioned the cinematography, but there's some cool just little edits here or there, like the dragonfly flying in with the helicopters. That was a cool touch.
Yeah,
or little creative things like when Kong is about to eat the guy and it cuts to a guy eating a sandwich or whatever.
Oh yeah.
There's just a little creative things there. So there were like a little
the bobblehead. Remember the bobblehead?
Yeah. So there was some
things.
stuff that Jordan Wait Roberts threw in that like he has some creativity in the way he directs.
And he's got confidence. I read a lot of interviews with him, and he sounded a lot more confident going into this than Gareth Edwards did with going into Godzilla.
Yeah.
He also. I read I listened to an interview with him where he was the one, and maybe this is him just being playing it up, but he was the one that actually suggested the Vietnam 1970s setting because I think they wanted to make this in like the 1900s or something like that.
Yeah, it was 1917, and he was like, "No, let's do like Apocalypse Now." It was so that so he definitely gets kudos.
So that is very important. I think that's such a smart move because I don't want to see another Kong set in the 30s. You can't really do Kong set now, but because it needs to be tied into history, and like post Vietnam is the perfect time to bring these themes out. The thing is, it was so tonally all over the place. Like at times, it's like an anti-war movie, and while like seeing Tom Hiddleston with the gas mask and the green smoke like slice through these animals was cool. At times, I was like, this is like I feel like I'm watching like a sci-fi movie with a big budget. Like the acting was almost television, and it's probably the dialogue. It was television quality, sci-fi movie channel quality.
Well, you had that, but you also had like John C. Reilly being kind of goofy, but then you contrast that with like I forgot that the Hispanic character with the mustache, what that actor's name is, but he gets like flown away and chopped in half.
Oh yeah,
and it's just like, what is with this tone? Where are we going here? Like, am I supposed to be horrified or am I supposed to be laughing?
Or are you supposed to be laughing? Exactly. It didn't really know.
Like, it was a little uneven.
It didn't know what kind of movie it wanted to be at times.
Yeah, well, the question I beg to ask, and since I have Bellotti here and all of you guys here, is that you had Godzilla, the 2014 version, that was a long movie. It was very long. It hid Godzilla. Did you prefer this movie to Godzilla, or how do you feel? How does it compare?
You know what? I actually thought about that because this movie gives you Kong from the first 5 minutes of the film, and there's a lot of Kong in it, and Godzilla didn't have a lot of scenes in his movie, and I think somewhere in the middle of that, I think if you have some of those really interesting characters from King Kong, in the Godzilla movie, I think you wouldn't even notice that Godzilla was gone half the time. You know, I didn't mind. I didn't, because even in the original Godzilla movies, there were other Godzilla movies where he wasn't in the movie a lot, but there was so much compelling character stuff going on. They didn't fucking give a shit. So Godzilla what's his name? Aaron Taylor Johnson. He was horrible. Yeah. He did not. It should have been Bryan Cranston. We all know this. If he carried that movie, I think it would have been much better. And you wouldn't even notice the lack of Godzilla. Honestly, I was getting a little sick of. There was like too much Kong in this movie. I was like, here he is. He's coming out of the smoke again to talk to the girl.
But it looked so cool, though.
Yeah,
it was cool. It was cool. I would agree with Bellotti that somewhere in the middle. I would say that this movie is like, if this movie's on, it's a lot more rewatchable from start to finish. Whereas if Godzilla's on, you're just fast forwarding to the end.
Pretty much, exactly.
You're literally, that's all you care about is the fucking end. But I do agree that there was a couple, like seeing Kong in the river when that forgot what the fuck's that actor's name? Toby Kebbell's bloody nose. Like, okay, you just saw Kong in the river. All right, cool.
Oh yeah, he's watching.
That seems unnecessary. He's just walking the river. Like there was just so much fucking Kong. So I think somewhere in the middle, because I was also with Bellotti, where I'm like, all right, we're seeing a lot of Kong. Like he's getting a little too demystified now.
It's like just Kong jerking off.
It is. It's him like picking his teeth and
like even the scene where Kong's like just hunting skull crawlers. Like, I'm like, oh, that's a little like he fights two and he just roars and then they cut something else. And it's like, all right, that's just Kong porn. What are we doing? Like, where are we going?
So to me, these two movies are like, they're different beasts. Like I appreciated the Godzilla for a kind of a realistic approach to that problem, but I like this is just like a fun popcorn flick. Like everything I was missing from that, they gave you this. But again, I agree with both you guys. They got to combine these. Like there were so many characters that they could have had half as many characters, and you combine character traits. Everyone was just like, he's the science guy. He's the funny guy. He's the military guy. He's got one thing. They all had one. They were so one note. So if they split it down, half the characters and combined the character traits into these characters, the characters would have been way more interesting. Like this could have close to been a much better movie, and it's purely because of the lack of dimensional characters.
Well, I would point to. I'm sorry. I would point to that one scene where the guy is making that sacrifice and and walking with the grenades toward the skullcrawler. You see the black guy like trying to stop him, and like crying about it.
Yeah,
like that scene could have been a lot more powerful if I got to know any of those two guys. If I didn't know.
No,
much
there was
anyway.
two. They were kind of generic, but then that scene was hilarious because he's doing this big sacrifice, and then the thing just flicks him off to the side. He blows up, completely useless death.
Where would you have put the scene? Like, this is the thing. You have all these guys there that are cannon fodder, obviously. That's why we have so many characters, because we need a lot of people to get killed so things could happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
But how would you organically include those character moments in that story? Like, I think that they rush you all over the place, and to get to this island where Kong is, and then they're all lost and they're all detached from each other. So it's really weird that you don't have time to establish a relationship between these characters.
Well, but there's too many. They didn't need that many. You could have established it had there been less characters.
Yeah,
many storylines. Like they half of those. First of all, half of those people should have been dead when they crashed in a helicopter. And
nobody was hurt at all.
Nobody was hurt.
Serious helicopter crashes. Like, this was no little helicopter.
They could have cut all those. They could have cut half of those storylines out. They could have gotten rid of Samuel Jackson's character, Toby Kebbell's character, and just focused on a much smaller cast.
So let's talk about Sam Jackson for a second. He's playing like a caricature of himself? How have we gotten this far where Sam Jackson just can't even be a real character anymore?
You know what I needed from Sam Jackson's character besides Sam Jackson in the role, which is I didn't need his ass in the fucking role because I can never take him seriously anymore. But I needed that character. Like, he was kind of that warmonger guy that kind of was looking for a fight.
Yeah.
But I needed him to even be a little crazier. I needed him to be like fucking Dolph Lundgren from what the fuck, Universal Soldier, when the guy's fucking collecting ears. Like, I needed him to be that fucking edgy, like the guy that's like going out in Vietnam and like just fucking pillaging villages and killing them.
I would have liked to have seen maybe a little bit before they got on the boat of him being a fucking crazy.
Yeah, I didn't buy it. I was like, he kind of wants to kill Kong for no reason. I mean, I get it.
I didn't buy it.
I didn't buy it at all. I was like, you killed your guys, but you're really not selling it, Jackson, because you're just standing. I liked when they locked eyes. It became like a different movie. It was a lot of different movies in one.
Well, also the way there was just so much going on that actually, if you think about Sam Jackson's character at the end of the film wanting to kill Kong, he actually is kind of right. He hasn't seen Kong do anything cool. He has no idea that Kong is the protector of this island. The only thing he's seen is Kong kill his people. So at the end of it, I'm like, how are you going to convince this guy not to do this? Because he has no reason to believe anybody else than what he's seen.
And they tried, and then he got smushed. The deaths were hilarious, though. Like, Toby Kebbell, for like half the movie, they're looking for him, and you're like, are they going to get him? And then just unceremoniously killed. All the scientists killed. John Goodman just eaten. Like, they made me laugh. Every time a main character died, I was fucking chuckling. I probably wasn't supposed to, but.
I actually just forgot John Goodman was in the movie until you said his name.
Right? He's barely in the movie.
He was sleeping through his lines.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was a weird delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Toby Kebbell thing, like him being on his own and like.
What's the point of all that?
This letter?
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to like feel for him, but like he's like an extra character. Like, why am I feeling for Toby Kebbell's character? He's alone talking about this letter.
Way too many people. Sam Jackson actually says a line that he has also said in Jurassic Park when he says, hold on to your butts.
Nice.
I mean, I don't.
Like, there could have been like so many cool dynamics that was going on there. Like, first of all, you have this hot chick with all of these dudes. It'd be nice to see like two guys trying to vie for her attention and like kind of like insult each other or whatever.
That could have been fun. That could have been fun.
Pissed off.
Yeah.
Her getting pissed off and like, they don't have no human element there that you're like, oh, this is like a real situation. But in this thing, they're just acting like whatever they wrote to get the plot to move forward.
Although I did like that there wasn't like a forced love interest, and there wasn't that whole. He does save like a girl, but I liked how they handled it in this movie because it was just brief, and he was just trying to be good because he saw them.
Well, they made her a little bit stronger of a character in terms of like she goes out, she's the one that shoots the flare at the fucking skullcrawler. Like, she's not the damsel in distress. But there was just more to be mined. There was more to do.
Wasn't that flare bit stolen from Pacific Rim? Didn't the Australians do that in Pacific Rim? They shot the kaiju in the eye.
Yeah.
It's the first thing I thought of. I was like, are they really stealing a movie?
There's a lot. Look, there's a lot of homage. I mean, like they, clear
homage. I want to go homage.
Apocalypse Now.
No one's making an homage at this point to Pacific Rim. Everyone, relax.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, the homage goes to Apocalypse Now because it was straight up Apocalypse Now style shit when they get to the island.
Yeah,
which I thought that was cool. The color again, it was shot great. The colors and the of the different scenes. I liked him using the chains and the boat parts at the end as a weapon. But then even that last fight scene got really repetitive for me. The fucking big one kept coming back. I'm like, oh, he's still here. It was a little bit repetitive, but
well, that's the thing. It's like they had too many skull crawlers.
What'd you guys think of the design of the bipedal? I thought it was a little bit weird at first, like how like in terms of balance, and he's got the tail to balance, but I was wondering why they chose that weird 2-legged design.
I think they were in the original 33 Kong film.
Yeah.
In a scene that was cut out. Rugs, are you familiar?
Oh, really?
Whoa. Yeah, it's something kind of like a snake with arms.
Yeah, there was a scene that it's been popping up on Facebook of him like climbing up like a mountain wall or something towards the actors. So they got their inspiration from the original film.
I found the skull crawlers to be a little weird. That design really. Every time I saw it, I was like, "That's fucking strange." But the skull crawlers were different. And an interesting foe for Kong. I more wanted to comment on Kong's fighting style. I did like the creativity.
Yeah.
And using, like you had mentioned, the chains and then the anchor and fucking the tree, which we got spoiled in trailers.
I know the trailers did show everything, but I loved him throwing trees at the copters and
that's stuff that you can do with Kong, and it works because Kong's an ape.
Yeah.
And apes are smart. Like I hate when I see that shit, like that goofy shit in Godzilla films. Like that stuff for me never works with Godzilla because it's a fucking tall lizard. It's not going to pick up things like that and do that. I liked Godzilla's fighting style for that film, and I liked Kong's fighting style in this one.
Yeah,
I got to agree. I agree with that.
That tree bit was like a big moment in the last battle, and it was just the goddamn trailers. I was kind of disappointed.
I never saw it, so I enjoyed it.
I wish there was more at the end. It ended weird. That battle ended weird for me. I kind of wish there was more, but I was like, oh, this is it. And I kind of wish the big skull crawler looked a little bit more different than the little one.
Exactly. There's not enough variety.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's like if you're going to have like a big bad, it can't be exactly the same, just a bigger version of the other thing.
Right.
That we just saw, because then it gets repetitive. Like, I thought there was going to be some kind of flying thing he was going to fight. That would have been interesting.
Oh, well, there was the little birds, but that was it.
But that, yeah, and you saw other stuff. There was a bunch of different creatures on the island, which was cool. It was like that big wooden bug thing that was cool.
That was cool.
Yeah, I like the big spider. I like seeing, even in that scene where Toby Kebbell's watching him, and you do see him vulnerable. He's cut. He's drinking water, and then he's like, "Oh, giant octopus!" And then I love that because then he just eats them like fucking calamar, some good calamar, marinara. Kong just slurps
the
up
insect stuff I liked.
Yeah,
but you inevitably compare that to the insect scene in King Kong, Peter Jackson.
Oh,
you're like, this doesn't hold a candle to that fucking scene.
No way.
No,
it's
night and day.
It's like so. It's cool. You got some cool insects, but it's not the same.
See, I think what they're doing is maybe it's a conscious thing that they don't want to make a big threatening monster that Kong has to beat up, because then it's going to take away from Godzilla being that battle that they're going to have. So you always want to keep, you want to bury the lead. You don't want to like blow your load on a great big monster that looks like it actually could take on Godzilla and win.
Yeah. Well, I think they could have gotten away with that because Kong, they could have done something like that, I think, because in this one, Kong is still a teen. So he's only like 100 feet tall. So if you have a big bad that's like 120 feet tall, like that's still not going to compare to when he grows up and fights Godzilla, who's like 350.
I don't think it should be something that's like Godzilla though, like a bipedal thing with a tail. Sure. I think it should be some kind of different thing that would be interesting for him to fight. I don't know. There's a different, something different.
They should have just changed the look of the skull crawler. Really?
Yeah. Well, and I like that, like what you just said, Anthony. I like that they addressed. Because we were all like, wait, how big is Kong? Is he going to get bigger? He doesn't look big as Godzilla. I like that they have addressed that and are building things for the future. He's still growing it's 1973, so maybe
I actually think that first scene when you see John C. Reilly's
when they crash land when they're younger,
I think that Kong that you see is actually Kong's parents.
Oh yeah, because you saw their skeletons.
He's gigantic, like he's huge.
Yeah. Well, you saw the parents' skeletons and how big they were.
Right.
Whoa.
Because John C. Reilly's character is like, he's the only one left, and he's telling the story about how the Skullcrawlers killed his parents. So obviously he's seen all of that. So I think that's the parents that you see in the beginning, or one like his dad.
Oh, his dad, because he was huge. I loved the tribe there and the reveal of the drawings. On the stones as the camera panned and the drawing kind of clicked into place and came together. Like all that shit was great.
That was probably like the nicest tribe in any Kong film. Did you guys notice that?
They were so friendly and smiling, and
I was wondering why there wasn't any blackface. That's just what I was.
Is that what was in 33?
I don't remember. I don't remember if they had blackface actually.
Then King Kong vs. Godzilla, they put the Japanese actors in like blackface makeup.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This tribe it's so fucking peaceful.
They're great. I love them. I want to hang. I'd fucking love to like live on that island with them. I'd be so peaceful, no stress, no anxiety. It'd be great.
I'm surprised that John C. Reilly didn't get laid this whole time that he was there.
I know, you should have like little kids walking around.
They should have been like little half-breed kids walking around. So.
Yeah, I guess they don't want to mix with him.
Do you guys think this is a good way to kind of reinvigorate monster movies for this generation?
I think that since this is so like digestible, like it really is. It's a nothing movie. I mean, it really isn't like heavy or anybody could sit through this shit, even if they might be bored or whatever. So I think yes. I mean, if people can go and enjoy themselves and enjoy the movie and have like a good time, like kind of like a popcorn film, it's okay. Is it going to really stand the test of time? Like, is it going to be considered a classic? I don't know.
Well, what I liked about this not a classic, but in terms of this franchise they're setting up, what I liked about this is some stuff Warner Brothers DC can learn from this movie, and that's one is it's kind of a standalone movie, you know, and they didn't shoot for like $1 billion return for like the biggest best Kong movie. They wanted to make a good Kong movie and put some world building in there and keep it, digestible. And I think they did that. It got good reviews coming out, and it's a standalone. So you don't really need to watch Godzilla to appreciate this. But if you have, you will be rewarded by the post-credit scene and the little, the fact that Goodman is part of Monarch, and you get to see, this hollow earth theory and where all these monsters are actually, they could be living underground in the planet this whole time, and nobody would have known it.
Yeah, they did bring that up. I would say this film, agree with Ruggs, very easily digestible. There's like the subtlest of undertones of like man versus nature, and you don't fuck with nature sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's so fucking subtle, and they don't like it. Like I don't even think the movie makers even care about it. So no one's gonna be like, oh man, like coming out of this, like, oh man, this movie had a real strong message about fucking nature. So it's like you said, a nothing movie. So in that sense, I think the mainstream will like it, and will accept it. But I don't know if the mainstream was actually clamoring for a Kong film.
No, that's why they kind of, they got to take their time and make it this way.
Godzilla's made way more money in its first 10 days or 2 weeks than Kong has. I think like Godzilla's made like 70 million more already in the same amount of time frame.
I feel like there was bigger buzz for that than
there was way bigger buzz for
this. But this, if someone like just walks in, I think they'll be pleasantly surprised. It's a fun popcorn flick. But you're right, it is. I
think once it gets on cable,
it's
gonna kind of get a new life. And then I think same thing about Pacific Rim when it came out. Like nobody even knew what the fuck Pacific Rim was going to be. It's called Pacific Rim. It doesn't. It's like not robots versus monsters. It's like it's not labeled in a way that it's obvious what it is. So a lot of people watch Pacific Rim for the first time on cable, and then that's where that groundswell of people having interest in it came from.
You know what's going to be cool though? Do you remember, Ruggs? We talked about this in we had Channel 11 over here, and they used to play like the creature features on Saturdays, and that was like our first experience with Godzilla. Like some kid now is going to watch Pacific Rim or Kong Skull Island on like a Saturday.
Yeah.
And that's going to he's going to go into adulthood with the same sort of nostalgia that we have now for like when he was a kid, which is, I mean, for us, because we're older, like we've seen so much shit, and it's like they'll never hold a candle to like the classics from the 50s and 60s. It's like, that's fine. I don't care. But for some little kid, this is going to be like
absolutely,
his whole world.
And I think
great.
Yeah, it succeeds in that sense as a monster movie to get kids, into it.
It's very rewatchable. It's a movie I would literally if I flipped the channel and it was on, I probably wouldn't turn it off.
Honestly, you don't even, you could just start watching when they get to the island. Fuck all that shit at the beginning. It totally doesn't matter. This is how I watch Titanic. I forward to where the fucking boat hits the iceberg.
No, you don't. You forward to the fucking nudie scene.
And that scene.
Draw me like one of your French girls.
Yeah. That's what you don't fucking bullshit us. Imran.
I pause. It's always paused on that.
That and fucking Leo's hand hitting the fucking foggy window. That's what you fucking watch all the time.
There was plenty of room for him on that door she was on at the end. She was just a bitch and didn't want to share her floaty thing. I was like, you could have pulled him out of the water. There was tons of room next to you. What are you doing? She was like, nah, I'm going to go so I can tell the story.
Women. Typical.
What do you think of the post-credit scene?
Let's get into that. I thought that was pretty cool. I was excited to see you saw cave drawings of Ghidorah, is it, right?
Yeah.
And
I like how Imran's the first one to answer.
I'm going to say it. I don't know what it is. And you saw Mothra, and you saw Rodan, and you saw the Godzilla.
You saw a few drawings of Ghidorah and Godzilla.
Yeah.
I will say, like the little boy in me did get excited, like, holy shit, like this is happening. But I remain cautiously optimistic about the whole Monsterverse in general. We'll see. We'll see if they can pull it off. I don't know. I still think part 3 should have been Godzilla, King Kong, Rodan, and Mothra fighting King Ghidorah. I think that's what part 3 should have been. I don't know why they're saving that for the third film. It's kind of stupid to me. But whatever. I'm sure they have a whole plan, and it's all going to work out.
I was excited. I mean, I definitely, the cave drawings were a nice little touch. Most of my theater wasn't even in.
Yeah, everyone.
I don't know if a lot of fucking fans that watch Kong are going to know that to stick around for this.
Yeah, a lot of people left our theater too. I was like, no, I read it on the internet. I saw it already. Actually, everybody, don't get up.
You're like that crazy bum on the side of the street that just was like rambling and trying to get people's attention, and no one's fucking listening.
Dude, we had in our theater the usher. They came in, and then they had to tell people. They're like, oh wait, there's another thing, and most people didn't give a fuck, and they left. And like there was only a few people, even after the usher was like, there's still a thing at the end.
I was excited. Oh, it's let me just finish real quick.
Oh, sure.
I was excited seeing all that stuff. I know that all 4 of these monsters are showing up in the second Godzilla film.
Oh, they are.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a little worried about it because I feel like they're rushing all of this stuff into I feel like all these like Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, I mean, are super, like, are they going to have a 4-way fight? Is it going to be like Ghidorah, the 3-headed monster? Like, I don't want to see Mothra being a bad guy or anything. Like,
I think they're all going to team up.
I hope that's what they're doing. But I think that film is more epic than a Godzilla King Kong crossover.
See,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I keep saying. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ruggs.
What I think is going to happen is that Ghidra's going to show up. Godzilla will arise to fucking fuck shit up and try but he's going to get his ass kicked. And then they're going to kind of like, figure out these other monsters and get them out of the earth, and they'll team up, the triple team.
Did you guys interpret that scene as that's the same Godzilla and that's been around forever, and that they've just been fighting? He's been fighting Ghidorah for centuries, or is that like a different Godzilla? Like there's been other Godzillas in the past.
I think
I read something
ones.
online. Yeah, I read something online that it was like there might be other Godzillas.
That's how I took it too.
Oh, really?
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I think it will be one, but it's okay.
Yeah, I don't like when it's multiple Godzilla. I like that it's just been one.
I assumed it was the same Godzilla. He's just been there forever underground in the earth.
Yeah, but wasn't in the Godzilla, the first Godzilla movie, didn't they see like a giant Godzilla skeleton that what's his name, Serizawa? Weren't they in the Philippines looking at some giant Godzilla skeleton on the ground?
I thought it was I thought that was a Muto skeleton.
Was it a Muto? It shows you how much I watched that movie.
I like how they tied that in too, because the guy actually said, "Was it massive underground terrestrial,
massive unidentified terrestrial organism?"
Yeah. So I like the little touches to that, and I mean I like that they kind of explain where these things could have been hiding, this whole time. And
it felt like they were trying to explain a lot of things that Godzilla didn't answer.
Yeah,
and that you know what?
And if you had no idea these two films were eventually crossing over, you'd be like, "What?"
Yeah, and they sacrificed. That's the problem, is they did the world building and sacrificed like character development for the world building. Just explain things.
And they didn't really have to. They could have just built up the characters with just little hints here and there, like they kind of do in some of the Marvel films, and it would have been fine.
Ruggs, what did you think of the cave drawings?
Well, I mean, I was actually a little bit bummed out that they were all cave drawings. I would have liked to see a variety, maybe a cave drawing here, maybe like a weird aerial photograph here or something. Yeah, because they had that, they had just turned on the satellites and they're getting all these new shots of shit.
Yeah.
So it'd be a good way to do it, but they're all was all cave paintings. The art styles varied a little bit, which is cool, but I don't know. I'm into it. I mean, I think American Godzilla is good. I think it's good that we have it. Good that there's a counterpoint to, what's going to come out of the East.
Your favorite, Shin Godzilla.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm hoping that the CG cartoon Godzilla is the best one out of them all. Because
it probably will be, honestly.
I'm hoping. But the only thing is no cities for Godzilla to trash.
Well, they could be but they could be vacant cities.
Yeah. Could be.
I don't know. Who knows what the hell?
I'm most excited to see how American designers interpret King Ghidorah, Mothra, and Rodan. Mothra is going to be pretty easy, but how do you make Rodan cool? How do you make King Ghidorah look not like a fucking sock puppet?
You can do him good. You can do him really good.
Yeah, I know they can. Yeah.
So Rodan looks like a he look. What does he look like?
He's a giant pterodactyl.
Oh, he's a pterodactyl.
Pteranodon. Yeah.
Oh, he can fly. So him and Mothra are flyers.
You know what's funny though about all this, and I've said it on the other podcast that we did, but to throw all these monsters, like these new monsters in one movie, like when Toho did this was the original Avengers. So Mothra had her own movie, Rodan had his own movie, and Godzilla obviously. So when they teamed them all up, it was like a big event. But this movie, it's like you're kind of shortchanging these iconic characters just to shoehorn them into a movie. When like I keep saying, the second movie shouldn't have all this shit going on, and then the third movie's kind of like, I don't know, it seems kind of underwhelming compared to what they're putting into the sequel.
Well, the thing is, you're going to get the same thing you did in the first movie, where it's going to be Godzilla's not going to have any screen time, and you're spending all this other time establishing these other three monsters.
Villains, I hope they take their time, but it sounds like you guys are saying it, they're already rushing things. I didn't know that they were going to be. I think we did go over that they're going to be in the next Godzilla movie. And then, of course, the joke has already started where King Kong versus Godzilla, and they're fighting, and Kong says, "You have to save Mothra." And Godzilla goes, "Why'd you say that name?"
Yeah,
there's a lot of those memes.
That's already a lot of those memes.
Yeah, I actually turned off all my notifications from all the Godzilla groups I'm in because after Kong came out, I was getting all these messages, all these notifications on my Facebook, and so and so posted in this group, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'm just like, off, notification off. Like, I went through like 16 pages and just turned them all off. I just I don't even care. I don't care.
Does this movie make you guys? Imran, don't answer first.
Oh shit!
Yeah, fuck you, Imran.
Please don't answer first.
Go take a piss.
Yeah. Does this movie make you guys, after seeing this Kong, and you've seen now what Godzilla's kind of like in 2014, does this make you excited for their eventual interaction? Because they're both like this protector sort of thing.
Yeah, after seeing this movie and then seeing Godzilla, I'm kind of like, they're sort of similar. And I don't know how that's going to work. How they're even going to match up against each other if they're both protectors and gods. I just didn't. They built him up as like this truly benevolent being on the island, and then Godzilla's like a alpha predator, right? That's what they were saying.
He achieves balance basically.
Yeah,
he's balanced.
Yeah.
And Kong would balance everything.
He's Gamera. You've got Gamera, and you've got Kong being like Gandhi, just doing nice things for people.
Yeah, pretty much. Lifting a plane, like helicopters.
Yeah, lifting the helicopter off of.
Oh my god! How did fucking Brie Larson's character think she was gonna move a fucking helicopter off that thing by herself? Did she really think she was going to move that fucking thing?
Well, it's made out of CGI. It's easy to move anything, right?
I was like, what are you doing? You really think? And then, of course, he shows up and moves it.
Can we just talk about one thing that really fucking annoyed me throughout the entire movie is the Asian character, the Chinese actress that they put in because the Chinese co-producers.
The useless Asian character that didn't really do much.
That stayed clean throughout the whole movie. I mean, I have no you guys know me. I have no problem with Asians in films. I want more of them. But give me like a Donnie Yen in this movie. Like Donnie Yen like totally fucking stole the show in Rogue One. You know, like put people in these movies that have like a screen presence. Like she had like 4 lines and you could tell she was there to satisfy the producers.
Yeah, they could have had a million ways to put diversity in this movie that would have been better than the way that they did it.
I mean, there was way too many fucking people in the goddamn movie. And I love Corey.
Real quick, I want to just get, what was Rugboy? What do you think about eventual Kong Godzilla crossover with these itinerations of the characters?
It really is. I mean, look, why they're going to fight, I don't know. Like, as you said, they're both kind of benevolent or, whatever, ambivalent of things. They're not like there to destroy the earth or anything like that. Why?
Yeah, because you got Godzilla even like avoiding to hit ships, like actively going under the water to not hit a ship. Yeah, go ahead.
Like they would have to be like coerced to fight for some reason.
It'd be funny. Like
aliens?
in King Kong vs. Godzilla, when they put Kong on the balloons and flew him on top of Godzilla and cut him loose and he dropped on him.
I remember that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking about, like how they were going to make them have a conflict. Is like they
just
get Kong and they just force a conflict,
force it and film it and put it on pay-per-view.
Because how's Kong going to leave that spot?
He's not.
He doesn't swim.
Somebody would have to take him out there. I mean, I kind of feel like it'll be a thing where initially it's a misunderstanding and they battle, but then just like Batman versus Superman, very quickly they become friends and they're like, wait, we're on the same side.
That's definitely going to happen. They're going to fight something at the end. Honestly, this is just my pie in the sky theory, but I think they're going to fight somehow. I actually think aliens are going to be involved.
Really?
I think that there's some alien threat that they're going to need to unite to fight. And I think, I wouldn't put out of the question that they have aliens brainwash these two to fight each other.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
I don't know why I'm thinking that way, but I feel like because they're both the same character. Why would they fight?
That's a good question.
That's Monster Zero shit right there.
Right? Yeah.
I
mean, they're already making they're making Ghidorah the 3-headed monster in this next film.
So might as well throw fucking aliens in it at this point, right?
Right. I mean, that's the next step.
Well, wouldn't it be Godzilla and Kong versus Ghidorah and Rodan and maybe Mothra is on the other side with Godzilla and Kong?
Yes, that's why the second film is kind of scaring me. Like, I know American audiences are probably going to be like King Kong Godzilla. Obviously, that's a huge fucking deal.
That would be, people would just go see that with the name alone, dude.
Right, but people in the kaiju know that the second film is actually much more epic. This one they're coming out with.
I see what you're saying.
I mean,
4 iconic characters.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they don't. If they shoot their load, like if they blow their load, like with all these monsters and kill them all off, then we got a problem. But if they don't all die in that movie, then there's a chance that they could, kind of work their way into the King Kong movie.
What happened to Godzilla at the end of 2014 again?
He went to the ocean.
He went back into the ocean. Okay.
Yeah, he's like, fuck this. I'm out of here. Wow. You guys are cool. Bye.
He's like, all right, clean it up.
I'm going back to Skull Island. See if
like every other superhero ever made. Like,
you guys clean this
shit up.
Yeah. What did you guys think of this? The guy who mocapped Kong, his name is Terry Notary. He is a stunt coordinator and a movement coach. He's worked on a lot of movies. He's actually he's in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. He was in Warcraft. He's in the Hobbit movies, and he's going to be in War, and he's playing, it says here, he's playing Cull, Obsidian, and Groot in Avengers Infinity War.
Geek Boner.
Providing the mocap.
So this is what he does, dude.
This is his thing. I liked the way he moved.
Fine.
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job. He played Rocket in Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was solid. I mean, Kong was solid. Every time Kong was on screen.
That was not the problem.
Yeah, that wasn't the problem at all. He was very solid. I liked this version of Kong. I know, and even the design there's a picture on the internet where they put this side by side with 1933 Kong, and it's heavily inspired by that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, this could have been a less forgettable movie if you had given us more memorable characters. Like that would have taken it up a whole notch.
Well, real quick, like Rugboy said, even though like there's forgettable characters and we all complain about it, that is in true kaiju style.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's like a monster movie. That's what you do in the monster movie. So they were sticking true to that also. Yeah.
Sorry, Rugs, to cut you off. What were you saying?
No, I was going to say, like, okay, if you establish Mothra, Ghidorah, and Rodan in the next Godzilla movie, and they don't all die. Let's say Ghidra escapes and flies away, and you don't know where he goes. He's just disappeared. Then the last shot of the movie could be Ghidra landing on Skull Island, and then Godzilla follows him there, and then
Kong's already there.
Yeah, and then Ghidra is there. Maybe Ghidra's like, hey, let me take out this village over here. And those are Kong's people. So then, he doesn't know that Ghidra did that shit. And then Godzilla shows up going, hey, where's that Ghidra? I got to kick his ass. I'm tracking his ass. And then Kong's like, yeah, you must be the motherfucker who killed these people. And then they fight. And then Ghidra shows up in the middle of the fight. And they're like, oh, fuck, this is the thing.
I can imagine that with the voices that they used in Godzilla versus Gigan when Godzilla and Anguirus are talking.
Yeah.
Remember that shit?
How could you forget that?
Anguirus!
It'll all be like pantomime. That, like, Kong will be like pointing to him and like doing something like, no, not me.
See, do you guys want these movies to get, because like Kong, it had a little bit of that cheese factor like the kaiju movies, and it kind of worked. Moving forward, do you guys want these movies to be more of a serious tone or keep some of that cheesy, campy?
As long as it's just King Kong doing it, it's okay because he's a smarter, more like us,
Yeah,
We're primates, so we relate to him doing these things and having this kind of view of things and really being aware of what's going on. So it's okay if we get it through him.
Okay, I see.
Because apes can be fucking goofy,
and they did that. Yeah, and that's where they chose.
When Godzilla gets goofy, but when Godzilla gets goofy, it always fucking bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah, you can't.
So speaking of what's next, Godzilla King of Monsters scheduled to come out March 2019. Directed by Michael Dougherty. They have a few cast members. Millie Bobby Brown, who played 11 in Stranger Things, is in this movie. Kyle Chandler and Ken Watanabe. It's Dr. Ishiro Shirizama.
He's the Monarch guy. Ken
rumored.
Watanabe.
Yeah, rumored. And that's about all they have on this movie, which we're going to have a full 2 years from this month will be out. So they're taking their time. Well,
with those 4 kaiju, I don't see how there's going to be much time for any fucking
right.
movie.
Maybe they should only have these 4 people in the cast because you're not going to have any more time to flesh out any more characters. Tell you that much.
Does this movie make you guys excited for that?
Yes and no. Like I said, cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
They have to do it really they have to do it right. Like GMK. Remember how GMK sort of reset Godzilla and they brought Mothra, Baragon, and King Ghidorah in, and they had to sort of reintroduce them. Right. And it was okay because they were sort of banking on nostalgia of recognizing these characters. So I think that's kind of what they're doing with these movies. It's like, well, everyone knows Mothra and Rodan, so we'll just put them in there and give them a little quirky character traits and then just throw them into the mix.
I'm excited for that. I just want to see what they're going to do now. They're going to have all these monsters. I'm pretty excited for Godzilla 2.
But they fucked up. This is all because of Thomas Tull. You guys know that, right?
Who? What?
Thomas Tull, the guy that was behind Legendary until the Chinese company, I forgot the name, but bought him out, and they sort of like demoted him because they didn't like him.
Okay.
He was the one, sort of like what Man of Steel was supposed to reset Superman, and then DC was like, no, we want to do a DC universe, so they shoehorned Batman into Dawn of Justice, and it sort of fucked up their plans for Man of Steel 2.
Sure.
Well, they weren't planning on using King Kong at all, but then Thomas Tull came in and he was sort of finagling the rights to King Kong because he really wanted to make this movie. So the Godzilla guys were like, well, we're going to do this sequel. And then Thomas Tull came in and was like, yeah, but after that, we're going to do King Kong. So now it's like we have this new King Kong movie setting him up as like a good guy. We have Godzilla that's already set up as a good guy, all because Thomas Tull wants to see a big budget version of King Kong versus Godzilla. So that's why this whole thing happened. So now they have to really
Wow.
Like, that's why they set up that writers. You guys heard about the writers' room for this movie, right?
Yeah. Why do you need a room of writers to fucking make this?
It's because
They
they
didn't
fucked
call
up.
me.
They didn't call anybody. They called J. Michael Straczynski for some reason.
So what was it? It was you posted it to our Facebook group. There's 7 writers.
Yeah, they have a writers' room to figure out this movie. It's like 7 writers have figured out how 2 monsters can beat each other up, but
too many cooks.
I just did
it. But I think that's what I'm saying is that, like, I think they weren't planning this, obviously. So now they're like, yeah. Thomas Tull came in. He's kind of like a Don Simpson almost. He's like, we're going to make this movie, King Kong vs. Godzilla. The kids are going to love it. And he's probably high on coke or something when he's pitching this. And then they're like, shit, we got to make this movie. How are we going to do it? So now they have all these fucking, half a dozen writers in there trying to figure out how they're going to work it.
Get more coke now.
You're definitely get more coke. You're definitely right. Like the Godzilla 2014, there was no hint of this at all. Like they weren't thinking about King Kong.
Yeah,
like King Kong. This movie, you can clearly see they're thinking about Godzilla throughout this entire film.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
I like it though. I like that Godzilla versus King Kong is one movie. Like we complain about reboots and remakes, is one movie that I'd actually like to see remade.
Well, the thing is, with the King Kong versus Godzilla, the original one, yeah, it's a cool movie, but King Kong just looks so ridiculous, and it really needs to be redeemed.
Yeah,
that's the silliest version of King Kong I've ever seen. It's terrible.
Absolutely.
This is the 1962 movie?
Yeah.
Have you seen it, Imran?
No.
It's terrible.
It's awful.
Look up how he looks, and you might start like he looks high as fuck.
I'm looking at
It's the worst gorilla suit I've ever seen. So
oh my god, is this with the goofy smile he has too?
Yeah. It's
horrible. He's got his mouth agape the entire time.
Imran, when I drew this poster last year, and I had to find reference for King Kong, and I drew him in pencil, and I said, "Man, this is a bad fucking drawing." And then I colored it. I said, "No, this isn't bad. This is what he looks like. It's really bad."
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's terrible.
This Kong looks
so
a bad scene.
When you're talking about rebooting, you're like,
this deserves
the mission is to just improve something like dramatically. And if you look at this Kong, that's a way humongous 400 times better step up from what we have in that movie. So just right there, and the Godzilla design, some people love it, some people don't like it. It's still pretty good. So those two things clashing, that's already going to be better visually.
Well, they only had about 60 years to get fucking.
So
it's weird that Toho even made Kong look like they had a Kong from the 1930s that they could have copied.
Yeah.
And they decided to make him brown and weird. And there's in the Godzilla design in that one's pretty solid. I don't know why Kong looks like that.
Yeah.
And they had a ton of money on. I mean, that movie had
that was
huge budget,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, for the time, and it was just like, really, guys? Everybody that's in the Godzilla fandom says the same.
Okay,
thing.
so I'm watching. It's Godzilla versus King Kong final fight, and Godzilla is being brought in by a helicopter, something.
No, Kong is right.
Oh, Kong. I mean, Kong is. Oh, then Kong's got his tail.
They fight twice. They have like an initial fight where Kong kind of runs away because he realizes that Godzilla has fire breath, and then they have their final battle with the pagoda and the tree going down his mouth. And at one scene where they cut where it's just two toys hitting each other.
Oh my god, these guys look like two guys in furry suits, kind of trying to make it up, get it on. At this point,
it's wacky as fuck.
Godzilla rolls away. Wow. I mean, it's 62.
King Kong acquires lightning powers.
Oh,
yeah.
In the midst of it, it's weird, man.
It's a wacky fucking.
It was 1962.
But
so that's the point. You want to see this. You want to see. You want to see Godzilla, the two most iconic characters, with modern technology. And what can we do with that?
King Kong's holding onto his tail and zapping him with electricity and swinging him around. Yeah.
So a final thought on this is that Imran watches what I've seen.
Imran,
please don't narrate it for us. We've seen it.
Holy crap, this is awesome. He threw a tree at him. Nothing happened. Okay.
It's like watching WWE.
It is. It really is. This is hilarious. I love it.
So we learned, you can see that Legendary kind of learned a little bit of something from the initial Godzilla movie that they made, where they're not trying to hide King Kong. They're not trying to do little like dick tease to us while we're trying to watch this movie and, spending times like zooming into people with their mouths open, Like they're trying. They're not like trying to like milk it. They're just like let's give people what they want. They want to see monsters fuck shit up.
Yeah.
And they've kind of gone to the other side where like there's no character development, just action. So if they can find a balance between the two movies, this point forward, and maybe those two, maybe Godzilla, a little bit of Godzilla will rub off on Kong, a little bit of Kong will rub off on Godzilla, and we'll get like the perfect movie. So we'll see. I mean, there's cautiously optimistic. I mean, this movie should be making more money than it has. But because of all the competition at the box office with Beauty and the Beast,
listen, look, let me just read you the box office estimates for this weekend. These numbers go from crazy. So number 5, The Shack, $6.1 million. Number 4, Get Out, that horror movie by Jordan Peele, $13.2 million. Number 3, Logan, $17.5 million. Number 2, Kong Skull Island, $28.9 million. And then number 1, it says Beauty and the Beast, $170 million.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
From when number 2 is 28, number 5 is 6, Beauty and the Beast, $170 for the fucking weekend. Just the weekend. Jesus.
That's the thing of Beauty and the Beast is really going to fuck Kong. It's going to fuck, fuck any of the hype for Kong.
And how long will this movie have legs? You got to wonder.
2 bestiality movies, one survives. 2 movies about chicks in love with animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is the audience for Beauty and the Beast really going to go see Kong? I mean,
well,
if there's more bestiality, yes.
There's less gay characters and more bestiality in Kong. You should be happy, you fucking crybabies.
They probably thought like, it's not going to affect our box office because our fans are still going to come see it because they're not going to go see Beauty and the Beast.
You'd be surprised, though, I guess, how many people do want to see this movie.
Yeah, all the girly guys. Yeah.
I secretly want to see it.
See, look, even
I'm seeing.
Do you even
weekend.
podcast?
I'm going next weekend because I love my fiance and I dragged her to the King Kong RPX show.
There you go.
So this is my comeuppance.
Are you going to see Beauty and the Beast RPX 3D?
I told her that because we got free tickets.
Yeah.
What happened was when we saw the RPX, my friend kept saying that the showing was blurry, and he kept going to the projectionist booth and complaining.
Yeah.
And they were like, "No, you're crazy." And so he left. He actually left the theater. He was so pissed off.
Wow.
And the 3 of us went down and complained, and they actually gave us tickets, free tickets for another RPX.
So was it blurry? It was blurry?
It was a little blurry. It was, as our friend said, it was ghosting. Like when the end credits came up.
It was trailing. There was trails.
Yeah, there were trails, and we. I mean, it was noticeable, and some stuff was like, the characters were a little bit blurry, and no one complained, but
did it look like digital artifacting kind of?
A little bit. It was definitely a little bit of that. Just like I said, ghosting, blurriness.
Oh, I would have left the theater immediately. I would have been like, "Fuck this!"
Because how much are those tickets? That RPX shit is like the most expensive ticket.
$30. There's $30.
Yeah.
So we got free tickets.
Wow.
And I said we should go see 50 Shades Darker on RPX.
No.
Yeah, there's somebody blowing you into the theater.
You're sitting on vibrators. There's just vibrators installed on every seat.
Yeah.
That's what that is. Oh, shit. All right. Well, look, do we want to grade it? I think we've said what we feel, and I think people...
I can throw a grade out.
Let's do grades. Go around. Rug Boy, give it a go.
I would say B-.
I was also leaning B-, C+, absolutely. Bellotti, you said
C+.
C+.
Yes,
Anthony.
I give it a C+, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the C+ train.
But when Kong's on, it's fun. And like you said, Anthony, I agree. Like, if this is on, I will watch the action scenes over and over again because they're just fun. They're fun.
Yeah, as a movie, it just doesn't work. But as watching Kong fuck shit up, it's great.
And I think it works as a stepping stone in the franchise pretty well also because they're not trying to smush too many things. They're taking their time. I think it's better set up than BVS did for its Justice League. This thing handled it a little bit better in terms of it's kind of like the same thing. So
it did, but to maybe defend BVS, Kong is a lot easier.
Yeah,
very easy character. Not that BVS isn't. They have source material and they could have easily not done what they did, but you just got to make the monster scenes good.
Yep,
and it's a good setup for a next movie.
Yeah, that's all you need, and that's exactly.
It's not rocket science.
No, It's not. Don't overthink that shit. Just give the people what they. How would you want? Give the people the air.
Yeah.
All right, before we peace out, I just want to shout out a couple of podcasts. You guys, I'm a host on Trivia Geeks. I want you to check out a couple of recent episodes. One, because Rugboy was a captain on a recent episode. That was a lot of fun. Oh, my
God. It was so embarrassing.
There's queef questions, so you should listen just for the queef question. Rugboy is
that was when I actually, started to shine.
That's the only thing he knew.
I like that Bellotti's back there counting his utensils.
Are you cooking? Did he start dinner? What's going on?
I don't know what you guys are talking about. You guys keep making shit up.
He's like, let me sort these forks and spoons.
I got 8 forks and 3 spoons. How did this happen?
I got to separate the good silverware from the everyday silverware.
I'm having company later. I'm getting the fine china ready.
He's setting the table as we wind up. So I'll put.
I don't know if the listener's been hearing like random noises, but just it's fun for me to speculate on what's going on.
It is. It's theater. It's theater of the mind. That's all. We make it up in our imagination. So look, I'll embed the Rugboy YouTube video of the Trivia Geeks in the show notes, and then there's another great one that Kate Amatazu and Patrick from See Here's the Thing came on. She's been on our show. Delightful people. They're so nice and they're so cute together. But the best thing about them is they can hang with the boys. Cause like Patrick was making dildo jokes the whole time. Kate, if you heard our show, she can hang with us as dirty as we get. Like you wouldn't expect it from these really lovely people, which is why I love them. And you guys, they want us to come on their show in April. Anthony Rugboy. So we will, one Thursday, we will go and hang out with them on their podcast. And I'll put that one. They're just, I love them. I love them so much. Kate and Patrick, you guys are awesome. They listen, so they're listening. I will put that show in the show notes. Next week, guys, will be our 2-year birthday. So we will do, I don't know, we'll do some kind of special 2-year birthday something. I have no idea what we're going to do. We're just gonna flow with it. We're just gonna roll.
Stick a candle up your asshole.
I'm gonna stick a candle and then Rugboy has to blow it out.
Okay.
So
I'll do a gerbil.
Okay. Yeah. The old.
Hey, listen. You want to go with the gusto? Need to top us.
Bellotti, where can the listener find you and all your cool stuff?
At my parents' house in Staten Island.
Bring over some marinara. We're coming over from marinara and
please.
Pasta.
She puts so much garlic in it, you'll be shitting for a week. Website, you can find me at robo7.com. It's ROBO7.com, and Facebook. What the hell is it again? Facebook, the Robo7, the Art of John Bellotti Jr., and Instagram at Robo7. That's ROBOSEVEN.
Hit him up.
Staten Island.
Hitting up on all that stuff, listener. He's got amazing, beautiful artwork. Buy some prints, buy some t-shirts. Support the independent creator. Rugboy, where can they find you?
You can find me on, Twitter at Really Rugboy, where you can't see anything of mine. Nothing. All you have is my stupid thoughts.
That's all we need. Go tell it. Shove a hand up your slack hole, listener, and tell a friend about the show. Spread the geekery. Subscribe them. Give them one of these. Little whisper, little secret. Grow the empire of stupidity. Thank you so much for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
We'll catch you next time.
I see the